Hi, I'm Erin Barlow, and I'm the Adult Services Manager at the Muskingum County Library System. I wanted to talk to you today about some of the options that we have that are available on Hoopla. We've been promoting our digital services a lot because they're free with your library card, and Hoopla especially has things this month because they know everybody's kind of stuck at home called bonus borrows. So you can borrow even more, and it doesn't count against the amount you're allowed to borrow per library card. So I thought I would go ahead and rather than just say, hey, check it out, I can give you kind of a rundown of some of what's available. There's no way I'll be able to cover all of it, but I thought I would hit on some movies and TV series that are available, and there really is such a wide variety. It's really rather impressive. So again, these are going to be available on Hoopla. It has ebooks and audiobooks and movies and television and comics. Today, I'm really just going to focus on what's available for television and movie-wise. So the first thing that I thought was really interesting is I don't know how many people like it, but I think it's pretty popular. I really enjoy all of the BBC. I really started with like Downton Abbey and kind of went down a rabbit hole from there. And they have a lot of great BBC options that are available, and they're starting on season 1, and you can kind of go through. So if you have time to binge watch and, people keep talking about shows and you think like, oh, that's 3 seasons in, how am I going to sit down and watch all of it? Well, you can, and for free through Hoopla. So with that said, the one that I think is very popular, at least it was, is the Call the Midwife series. So that starts at season 1, and it goes all the way through. Just for the record, we also have the books here at the library. It is a true story, and it's based on the memoirs of Jennifer Worth. It is set in the 1950s, and it's about midwifery and a family life in London's East End. So she works as a midwife alongside the nuns of the Order of St. Raymond Nonatus. So I think that sounds interesting. I know it's very popular. So because we have the DVD discs here at the library too. So when we reopen, that's an option as well. But so you can start that at the beginning. There are several series and several seasons, and it's very good. And there are books to go along. There's 3 books that we have here in the library that will follow it as well. So if you wanted to make it a project. Another thing that I found that I thought was interesting is there is a BBC show called Ice House, and it's older. I mean, like 2009-ish, I believe, so not older, but it's got a young Daniel Craig in it. So if you guys are kind of I know there was supposed to be a new James Bond movie out, and it got pushed back. So maybe if you're having a bit of a Daniel Craig withdrawal or whatever, that might be a good way to get the fix. And that starts at season 1 too. And Phoebe and her friends, Diana and Anne, live in splendid isolation in a country mansion and are the target of vicious village gossip. When their gardener discovers a body in their unused ice house, a 10-year-old murder investigation is reopened. And then it says, oh, could the body be Phoebe's missing husband? So I think that should be a nice, interesting murder mystery. And like I said, it's got a younger Daniel Craig in it, and I mean, he still looks terrific, so why not? Have that. They also have Small Island, which I had not heard of, but it has Benedict Cumberbatch in it. So, and this is a Jamaican woman in 1940s post-war London. Instead of the land of opportunity she had dreamed of, Hortense and her husband are met with poverty, prejudice, and abuse, except for Queenie Bly. No stranger to disappointment herself, she offers him friendship and desires in return a break from her own monotonous existence. As they come together, crushed by their own disappointment, they find that their lives are far more entwined than they ever could have imagined. So I think that should be pretty interesting. So that, I had never heard of that BBC as well with Benedict Cumberbatch, and that's at season 1. And the other one, which I have watched before and I really enjoy, and we do have the books and the DVDs here at the library as well. So when we physically reopen, you can come in and see us and get them, is Father Brown. And those are based on stories by G.K. Chesterton, and Father Brown is a crime-solving priest of the St. Mary's Catholic Church. He looks unremarkable, but his gentle nature and slightly crumpled look belie a razor-sharp wit and intellect. Father Brown is aided in his crime-solving activities by his parish secretary, Mrs. Bridget McCarthy, who checks his facts and defends him from the frustration of his congregation and makes sure that he eats. Kind of, I don't know if you guys do like BBC stuff. Perhaps you've seen Grant Chester. Kind of gave me that vibe too. You know, you have to have the woman to fuss after them and make sure that they take care of themselves right. So, on top of that, there are some other, there's American TV series on there as well. There is Mr. Mercedes, which is popular, and it's very, fairly recent. I think season 2 just came out on DVD, and that's based on the Stephen King book. So, and that's, there's a retired police detective. He's been retired for 2 years, but his last case kind of haunts him. It was a murder of 16 people. And so 2 years later, the person who actually committed this murder starts taunting the retired police detective. So that kind of just sends him off on his own to solve it and seek vengeance. So, but they have that Mr. Mercedes as well. And they also have The Librarians, which is a TV series. There are several movies with Noah Wyle. Those are on there as well. This is the television series with Rebecca Romijn. And it's under the Metropolitan Library lies a dedicated group protecting the world from secret magical reality. So I think that should be fun. Kind of like maybe a nice Saturday watch. I think we're supposed to be getting some rainy weather, so maybe that would help. So those are some of the series that I wanted to cover. I also, I know that exercise has become really important, and everyone at this time kind of says, keep a routine, get up, shower, exercise, all of that. And Hoopla has a lot of exercise videos that are available on Hoopla, but also there's other ones on these, the bonus borrows that don't count against your monthly allotment. So, and one of them that was interesting, and I had just been hearing about this kind of popular thing, Trudy Styler, I don't know if you guys know who she's wife of Sting, but she's also, they're very, very fit, and she's very athletic. And she has a Sculpt and Tone ballet video on there. And it's 2 dance workouts, and it's supposed to help with strength, balance, and posture, which I think should be pretty interesting. And you can do it with a bar if you happen to have a ballet bar in your home, or with a chair, which at least for me is far more likely. But I thought that was interesting. There are also some good yoga ones. Rodney Yee has a bunch on there. Jillian Michaels, formerly of The Biggest Loser, she has some on there. I believe one of them is like strictly about abs, and then other one's cardio. So, there's a wide variety of things if you're interested. Like I said, I know that everybody's kind of stressing, even though we can't go out and about a lot now, we still need to stay active. And I think that's a really great resource, because you can just do it on your phone or on your computer from the privacy of your own home, and no one needs to know that you are doing ballet in your house. So that was another option. Hoopla does also have movies. Now, there aren't a lot of like adult movies. I don't say like adult, but like grown-up movies on the bonus buys. There are some children's movies and a couple of documentaries, but not like entertainment for adults, on there. So just keep that in mind. But there are stuff for children and some documentaries and a lot of fitness videos. So those are always great to check out. And there are also a couple of series that I wanted to point out, just to double back, that maybe you don't necessarily want to watch BBC, or maybe you aren't interested in Mr. Mercedes, or it's Angie Tribeca and kind of a more mystery series. They do also have some Adult Swim cartoons on there. They have Robot Chicken and Rick and Morty, and then they have the MTV Beavis and Butthead on there as well. So there's really something for everything, or everybody. You just have to kind of search through. I think they've covered their bases pretty nicely on what's available. But we do have some movies as well that are available. Actually, there's thousands of movies that are available, but I had a couple that I wanted to reference. Um, Hamilton. They don't have the movie Hamilton, but they have it's called One Shot to Broadway, and it's about the making of Hamilton, and it's got really great interviews with the cast and kind of how it came to be. Because really, it came out of nowhere. It was just a juggernaut. So I always think that stuff's kind of interesting to watch. Um, there's also I am unabashedly a huge fan of the movie and now the American TV series What We Do in the Shadows. So What We Do in the Shadows is New Zealand. It was the original. Now there's an American series, but the original movie was from New Zealand, and it is three vampires who are roommates, and they kind of it's shot like a reality show. So they're dealing with normal vampire problems, chore wheels and getting into nightclubs and arguing, because I suppose you can't spend centuries with people without arguing. Yeah, which may be really familiar now with everybody spending a lot of quality time together in their house. So that might ring too familiar. I don't know. But on a random note, if you do enjoy that, and it's in the second season, the American series that's on FX. I think it's FXX. But just as a random note, Mark Hamill is going to be guest starring in next week's episode. So if anybody's kind of a Star Wars nerd too, a little bit of a crossover. Vampire, Star Wars, why not? So that's what's going on with those. I did also want to acknowledge, I know that a lot of people are homeschooling or really just feel like, oh, my mind is mush. I've watched all this stuff and want to kind of watch something a bit more educational. And Hoopla has something for that as well. There are a couple of really good Ken Burns series on there. There's a Civil War, and then he did a really great one on the national parks, which is fun, and it kind of makes you want to travel. So then that way, when we can finally get out and about with masks, probably. But hopefully not forever. It's a good destination, and parks are really reasonable vacations. So it may inspire some travel as well. They have a series on the Crusades that's done by the History Channel, and if you're going over some like English or lit courses, they do have like Romeo and Juliet or The Crucible. All of those movies are available, and they're very well done. Especially, I think most people know, but Ken Burns does an excellent job. So the national parks in the Civil War, I would highly recommend. On that note, I did want to say we are still getting materials into the library because we are not planning on being closed forever. So you can still check out our catalog. We are still ordering things. It's taking us a little bit longer to get everything into the system because we have other things we're going on right now, and staffing's hard. But if you keep checking back, we are still ordering movies for the library physically. So I thought I'd let you know a couple of the newer ones that we have that are in our catalog right now, that if you wanted to put on hold, you could. We hope in the future to start, working on ways to get people materials. Because like we said, the buildings are closed, but we're still here, which is why we want you to take advantage of our digital content. But then certainly when we open our doors back up, come in and see us physically. So you can check out things and we can say hi. Because we miss everybody. It's kind of been a long slog without people. So I wanted to let you know what some of the newer ones that we have in right now that you could place hold on are 1917, which is really terrific. Perfect, Snatchers. There's a new When Calls the Heart movie, Hardy's Family Reunion. I know that that's a really popular series. So they have a new one. And then we also have season 1 of a new series called Treadstone, which is like an offshoot of the Bourne franchise. So it's kind of a high speed action. And then we also have a movie called Trauma Center that stars Bruce Willis, and Amityville Island. It's kind of a horror thing available for you. So you can go, check our catalog. Please check back regular because we are ordering, and we will have lots of stuff for when we're back open and ready to go. So don't get discouraged. We're trying not to, so that we can get everybody their stuff as sooner rather than later. But I also, just as a heads up, those are the ones I just mentioned are the ones that we have in our catalog now that you can place holds on, and when we can, we'll get them to you. But we also have some new movies, in case anybody was wondering whether we're purchasing them or not. I wanted to let you know that in April and end of April and May, so it'll take us a couple weeks to get them in the system, but we do have coming Sonic the Hedgehog, The Photograph, The Way Back, and Call of the Wild, just to name a few. So, and we also do have the new Star Wars movie, The Rise of Skywalker. So speaking of Mark Hamill earlier. So we're trying to keep a variety of things, and please know that Hoopla is a great resource. If you have any questions, please don't ever hesitate to call and leave a message or email us, hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, however you want to get a hold of us. You can probably find us, and there's a live web chat on our website, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So happy Hoopla watching. I hope something struck an interest with you guys today. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.